Interesting. You're not at all what I expected to find here. I trailed a band of Tuatha to this place. They killed the Fate Weaver. I was hoping his corpse would give me an idea of why they were here. Now I know. They were hoping to find you. Knowing you, you're definitely involved. But something tells me I know you better than you knew yourself. Don't you remember me? I'm hurt. No time for introductions now. The Tuatha are still on the move. I'm certain that we'll see one another again. Soon. Be on your way.
Wait. What's that? Purge the abomination! In the name of Godflaw! Who are you? How do we know you're not working with the Tuatha?
I don't care if you trust me. I'm much more interested in your friend here. I'm beginning to think that these Tuatha don't like you. Now why do you think that might be? After all, someone who could change the fate of the world. Who wouldn't want you? I'm not sure, but they're very well informed about your location. They came straight here from Didenhill, but they're not nearly as interesting as you. Especially now that they're dead. Now it's my turn. Why are you here? Ha! Knowing the future is for fools. Who reads the end of a book before it's time? Save your attention for the present. Like that codex you found? Our scholars thought those were all gone from the world. But you're just full of surprises. Good luck understanding it. That's Fey knowledge. They don't even have a written language. The stone is simply embedded with what they know, unseeable to mortals. Normally, I'd suggest looking in Issa, but the Fae are not fond of unexpected guests. But don't look so sad. There's still hope. When you're ready, meet me at the House of Ballads. Be on your way.
We can't trust her. Never met a Darklfar who'd give me a straight answer, even with a sword at their throat. But she wasn't wrong about that codex. Just be careful doing anything she suggests.
Glynel, I assure you it's an ancient codex, just like in the tales.
Intriguing. And why would such a thing be revealed to a child of dust?
And here I was beginning to think that you'd never show up. This is Glynel, your master of the House of Ballads. Give the codex over to him, and he may have your answers. I'm a woman of many talents, and we're all taught that we must use our talents for the greatest good, right? Lore Master Glynel has devoted centuries to the study of lore and ancient Fey stories. The codex he found isn't just any lore stone. Just talk to him, and I'm sure he'll be able to shed some light on the issue. Be on your way.
You must be Lady Shir's friend. Speaks very highly of you. An occasion rare enough to be worth recording in its own right. But let's see this codex. Oh, nothing. This is no mere law stone. The Codex of Destiny is distilled knowledge from the High King of the Fae, given to the first Fate Weavers. To have such knowledge in your hands is a tremendous gift, but why did it reveal itself to you? Nonsense. All children of dust have a story that is written before you see your first dawn. Now, I can only make out some parts, but this is all. Codex speaks of an exception, a void, an end to the endless. This is simply too much. The High King would never put such absurdity off as wisdom. I'm sure you think it is. I fear you must have been taken in by a forgery. A perfectly created one, perhaps, but a forgery nonetheless. This codex speaks of impossible things, changes the fate, death of the immortals, and other heresies. ascribe these lies to the High King. I'm sorry, but I must ask you to take it away. I will have no part in these lies. Do not bother me with such foolishness again.
Lionel spends his life cherishing old stories, but show him something truly new, and he dismisses it. Tragic. First of all, we ignore this fool. Most Fae aren't comfortable with change, and you are certainly something new. I'm afraid that only one person will really be able to help us with the codex. The High King himself. It will be difficult. His court is in the city of Issa. Very few mortals are permitted in its gardens. I do know one individual who can grant you permission to enter, but you'll have to meet him alone. Niralim is a private person, and he carries a grudge against me. Although perhaps person isn't the right word for him, nor is him. You'll find him in southeast Dalantoth at Caer Niralim. Just head towards the giant tree, and, well, you'll see. You'll have to meet him on your own. I'd accompany you, but Niralim and I have our disagreements. Good luck with Niralim, and ignore anything he says about me.
You can change this fate, but to what? In doing so, you may awaken a more dangerous threat, like your ally, Alyn Shir. She walks a deep and tangled path, one that you walked alongside her before your death. But your path is your own now. Defeat Nash. Remove the taint of Brismere. Alyn Shir is a mystery and a simplicity. She is focused in a way few Quicklings are. Her dedication is true, but I do not know the cause. Together you have walked dark paths beneath my boughs. You knew one another before your death, or thought you knew each other. The troll matriarch and her brood await at...
I thought I'd find you here. If you were anyone else, I'd say it was destiny. But in this case, it was that damned tree. He's got roots and branches all through this forest. He said we should walk this path together. Thought I could help you, or maybe that you could help me. The gardens of Issa, home of the Summer Fae, once spread from the forests of Dalantoth, across the plains of Aethel, and even to the deserts of Ditir. Between the madness of the war and the spread of man, Alfar, and Gnome, the Summer Fae lose a little more ground every day. A tragedy for them. The Tuatha are a radical sect of Fae within the Winter Court, led by Gadflow and his insane rants about their new god. They've taken power and declared war on mortals. They use raw Brismere to enhance their power, and their devotion borders on madness. But the most terrifying thing to the Fae is simply the fact that their siblings have changed so completely. You haven't been around much, have you? The Tuatha have been pressing west from their home in Alabastra. Right now, they're only threatening my people. But if we fall, the Tuatha will turn their eyes to the other mortal races. The Summer Court, or the Seelie Fae if you prefer, embody the growth and energy of nature, but they can still be as aloof and uncaring as a brutal summer day. The current High King of the Fae is Titarian, the wisest of the Summer Court. While Gadflow has undermined the Winter Court, he tries to keep their cycle in balance. We've known for a long time that Prismere crystals allow us to store and focus magical power. The gnomes use it in their grander inventions, when they can get it. But we have no idea how Gadflow got a hold of so much of it. It makes his Tuatha the most dangerous army I've ever seen. Niralim is the oldest living mortal. He remembers the time before even the Fae called these lands home. You should see how they cherish him. He rarely grants an audience to visitors. His tenders say he knows the future as well as the past. It makes him very particular about what he says. The Fae do not have a written language, so their tales are their lifeblood, their history, and their future all in one. The House of Ballads is where they enshrine these legends and celebrate them time and again. That old coward. He may have lived 100 heroic lives, but he's lost the moment he faces something truly new, pathetic. None of us could have foreseen the rise of Gadflow and his army, but we should have, and now we're all facing the price. A close friend once told me, strive to be whatever you want to be. Fate might be a lie, but if it isn't, then worrying about it won't change a thing. For a long time, they were content to keep to their play of the summer and winter courts. Now we fight Gadflow and the Tuatha for our very existence. That codex isn't just a complicated lore stone. It seems to tell a tale most Fae don't want to hear, and created by High King Titarian himself, no less. Interesting. I've never met Nash. Trolls and Darkwolfar rarely invite each other to tea. But if she's matriarch of a clan, you can be sure that she's strong. And if she's so corrupted that Niralim is nervous about her, then she must pose a bigger threat than most trolls. Nice work. I see you haven't forgotten how to handle yourself in a fight. Still, this is bad. I didn't think the Tuatha would reach this far. At least not so soon. Obviously, the Tuatha have bigger plans than just killing you. Infusing a troll into Prismere, trying to bring the water down to him. Niralim is right to be concerned. To the contrary, until you came along, she was destined to rampage across Danatar, at least, if you believe Niralim. Go, talk to the tree. I'm sure he'll let you into Issa now. I'll finish off any Tuatha hiding in this den. Tell the old Mossirot yourself. I'll be tracking down any other Tuatha that may have come this far west. I'll find you again when the time is right. Who would have thought you were so interesting? Death seems to have worked out very well for you. Agarth's looking for escape, Niralim's looking for a savior, and Titarian is looking for a champion, and somehow, you're giving everyone what they want. I'm impressed. You're right. This won't be easy. The Tuatha have our forces under siege at Alyn Shir, and their power has only grown over the years. You'll need more help than just me and that old Fate Weaver. You'll need an army. A few years ago, one warrior could have slipped past unnoticed, but stealth is no longer an option, not even for me. But there is hope. In the plains of Aethel, there waits a player who has been away from this game for far too long. It is time to contact General Talera. Meet me in the village of Emer, and I will tell you everything. We are the charmed, the subtle, and the inspired. In happier days, we were the loftiest of the mortal races. We despise open war. But for decades, the Tuatha have been at war with us, pushing into our lands and forcing us to take up arms. General Talera was in charge of our forces to the east in Cluracan, but a decade ago, Witch Knight Malwyn and his Tuatha army drove her forces back. Since then, she's been looking for some way to take back the land she lost and regain her honor. You might be just the help she needs. Titarian isn't quite what you'd expect from the High King of Summer. But he hasn't got the arrogance of his cousins, or their cheer. Ever since Gadflo killed the High King of Winter and started the war, Titarian has become distant and melancholy, and blind to the dangers around him. The Winter Court, or the Unseelie, embrace the destruction and decay of nature. They aren't evil, but they aren't exactly the best of friends. Normally they share power peacefully with the Summer Court. But since the Tuatha have seized power, there is neither peace nor predictability. Be on your way. Give me a straight answer. Is the General still in the cradle of summer?
She is for as much good as it'll do her. But the cards don't lie. She'll never get that door open. Fate says it's so.
Yes. Well, then I suppose we'll just have to change fate, won't we? Thank you for coming all this way. I don't know if you heard that, but it sounds as if General Talera is still here, in exile. For all but losing the fortress of Alyn Shir. Long ago, Talera led our forces, but then the Tuatha produced a foe she could not best. Her forces barely survived the retreat out of Pluricon. Many blamed her for the loss, to have built up hopes so high, only to have them topple. That was Talera's crime, and she has paid for it, day after day. You're as quick as ever. Talera is in the cradle of summer, banished from the battlefields of Alyn Shir until she can atone for her past. According to the Fate Weaver here, she seeks an artifact from Tusk that might break the siege and aid our forces. But she cannot do so alone, for poor Talera is fated never to succeed. That is where you can help. In a hidden valley, northwest of the plains of Aethel, the ruins of Tusk lie undisturbed, as they have for many centuries. What Talera wants there is beyond me, but I trust her, even if it goes against my better judgment. Last I heard, General Talera was somewhere in northern Aethel, searching for a way to turn the tide of the war. I think she took a squad to Tusk.
Get moving! I'll make sure they don't try that again! Someone's got to make sure these ladders stay down. And you need to move before O'Waglin's troops start falling back!
Off into the swamps, I assume? None that would be of any help. After a decade of Tuatha control, they've all gone quiet. But if there are any out there, I'm sure they'll be looking for you. Just keep your eyes open. After all, you'll be in their swamp. Be on your way. The Tuatha are on the run. Good work. Plus, it's much more pleasant here without Gadflo bellowing at me from all corners. But enough pleasantry. Are you prepared for your reunion with Ventrinio? The notes we got from Octien say that you were employed as Ventrinio's assistant in his secret laboratory. You were with him in Alabastra when you died, but the notes weren't clear on what happened. I'm sure the two of you have so much catching up to do. Just make sure he lives long enough to get us into Alabastra. Once that's done, it's none of my business. Sidon's band of merciless Fae with lifetimes of training and everything to fight for? Yes, I think they'll be quite useful allies indeed. I've heard tales of his work, half trickster, half spirit of vengeance. Danistar is almost perfectly defended. Ventrinio could keep an army off of its shores. Good thing we found another way there. Of course, this is bound to be informative. I'm just disappointed I never had a chance to see the original Well of Souls. I believe our new friend has a disturbing path of living shadow to offer me.
The energy from the Well of...
Most people think the lads are a children's tale. The Walking Dead? How ridiculous. He's a worm, but a useful one. Octian took quite a risk setting him up in Cluracan. Must have made a lot of deals to keep him safely hidden away. Shouldn't be hard to find him. Keep moving up and follow the cowardly shrieking. Here's where we part ways. I'll stop the lads at the stairwell. You get upstairs and retrieve Ventrinio.
Remember, don't go near Drake.
I'm sure we can trust Ventrinio, but I'll keep an eye on him. I'll stay here and keep an eye on Ventrinio. We'll meet you at the Field of Huber, to the south. Whatever you're planning, now is the time. Ventrinio says he has a way to defeat Dren. However he got into Alabastra before, you'll have to use it to put an end to Dren's defenses once and for all. The House of Pride is the gateway to Alabastra. Until we can find a way through it, Gadflow can send his soldiers through. Now I'm sure you have this well in hand. Good luck. You got into Alabastra.
I won't lie. Aylyn's been a big help. She saved me once or twice at Alyn Shir when she could have just let me die. Still can't shake the feeling that she's hiding something. But whatever it is, it's probably not too sinister. Probably.
The House of Pride opened its gates and welcomed us as honorary champions. They say it's simple hospitality, but I suspect we have you to thank. Now is the difficult part. We can hold Cluracan, even push a little into Alabastra, but we don't have the forces to mount a siege on Gadflow. Once the House of Pride gives their word, they'll never break it. At least, not while it looks like we're winning. Our real problem is that we can't march the army through Alabastra. Not in formation, at least. This will call for smaller groups. Where armies have been fated to fail, you have the chance to succeed. But you won't be alone. The army will secure a base at the mouth to Alabastra. Meanwhile, the 5 of us will split up and infiltrate quick and quiet as we can. Meet at the House of Vengeance, on Gadflow's doorstep. From there, we strike at Baal, the heart of his empire. I'm sure you know more about it than I do. After all, you were here last. That's where we'll find Gadflow, and where we'll put an end to this whole war. I hope you're ready. This time. More than you'd think. But I promise I'll explain it all to you. Maybe once Gadflow's dead.
Good to see you here. Ready? I am. But there hasn't been any sign of Alyn Shir or Ventrinio. Damn it all, I knew we couldn't trust her. I sent Ventrinio to keep an eye on her. He was sending me messages until recently. But there were fewer and fewer as we've gotten closer to Baal. We need to get through the House of Vengeance and kill the Cur. And we'll have to do it without them. He's the closest thing Vengeance has to a leader anymore. A face so consumed with hatred that he's little more than a beast. If you're going to get into Baal, the Cur has to die. No, whatever Gadflow is doing in there, it's growing with every wasted minute. Even if Aylin didn't betray us, we don't have time to wait. Listen, you're more powerful than I ever was. If anyone can stop this, it's you. When you kill Kerr, go into Bale and stop Gadflow. If we get separated, we'll keep fighting to keep an escape route open for you. Now go. Stay on guard.
At last! My deepest apologies for not being able to join the battle. Ventrinio was something of a hassle. Waiting for you, of course, and cleaning up. Ventrinio attacked me. If it's any comfort, he didn't suffer. The closer we got to Bale, the more obsessed he became with Tirnoch, and with harnessing Tirnoch's power, just like Gadflow did. That's why he had to be stopped, and why we need to talk about our mission. I wasn't sure I could trust you. You're not the same person you used to be.
We're running out of time. I'll explain as we go.
Lead on. I'm right behind you. This is no time to dawdle. Here we are, in the heart of the enemy's defenses. And this time, I trust you not to fail. Somehow Gadflow found a way to reach out to Tirnoch. Or perhaps she was able to seek out his twisted mind. She offered him power, and with it, he began the Tuatha. No wonder Gadflow thinks she's a god. Ventrinio was right. Tirnoch is no god. She has almost as much power, and is every bit as dangerous to the world as any dark god. Her powers raised Gadflow from a jester to a warlord, and in return, his army would usher in a chance for her to enter this world and consume it. You're the one who stepped forward to stop Gadflow and the source of his power, even though fate said you were doomed to fail. This time, fate cannot control you, but I expect you to succeed. Lead on. I'm right behind, fighting at your side, just like the old days, before you died. That has been fulfilled for centuries. We keep the world from being consumed by greed, by war, and by Tirnoch. The ancient beast must stay sealed away at any cost. The world must never realize the terrible power Tirnoch offers. When Gadflow's army arose, we recognized Tirnoch's tainted influence. Only a force like her could warp eternal creatures like the Fae. So you came to infiltrate Alabastra, find Tirnoch, and seal her away forever. And you used Ventrinio to get in, under the guise of being his assistant. If you couldn't stop Tirnoch, she would use her talons to fully escape her prison. And I found you in Dalentarth, when I saw you had come back to life. I wasn't sure how much you remembered. I couldn't be certain you would keep our secrets. I considered killing you then and there. Nothing personal. You would have done the same to me. But then I saw what you had become. I saw the new powers you wielded. And I saw how useful you could be. When I saw you could change fate, I knew you were our only choice. So I helped you continue your mission to stop Tirnoch, even if you had forgotten it. But over time, I realized you weren't the same man you were when you died. You were more. You were better than the heartless commander I had known. Last time you came here, you were destined to die. This time, your destiny is up to you. Now we have a chance to finally complete. This must have been a lot for you to take in at once, but I need you to be clear on who you are and what you need to do. A lot has changed since you were here last. It isn't going to be as easy this time. And last time it killed you. Oh, she's a creature with incredible power. A dragon. But she is no simple lizard in some child's tale. She has a power rivaled only by the gods. Thousands of years ago, the ancient Alpha sealed her in the amethyst between this world and the world of magic. And there she went mad. As her prison weakened over time, she was able to tempt Gadflow into helping her gain enough power to break free. And if she escapes fully, it will mean the end of all mortal life. Tirnoch's revenge for tens of thousands of years of imprisonment. That's why people like you and I have dedicated our lives to keeping Tirnoch's secret from the world. We were supposed to keep Tirnoch hidden from the world. Anyone who learned too much had to die. But when Gadflow found her, you were the one who volunteered to kill him and seal Tirnoch away once more, even though you were fated to fail. It took every trick we had to get you here the first time, and you still died. I don't know if you plan to be resurrected, but knowing you, I wouldn't be surprised. Everyone who knows the truth of Tirnoch will be dead, and Tirnoch will be sealed away once again. We can return to our duty of keeping the knowledge secret, assuming that's the life you want to return to. But if you refuse, then I'd have to make sure you never tell the truth about Tirnoch. Of course, I'd rather it didn't come to that. But you would have done the same. Huh. I have more important things to do than love. And so do you. But I do trust you with the fate of my world. It may not set your heart aflutter to hear it, but it'll have to do. Lead on. I'm right behind you. An illusion. Something's not right. If Gadflow isn't here, then he must be hiding further underground, someplace closer to the source of the Prismere. You needn't try to impress me, you know. Not anymore. Besides, we don't have time. Whatever bargain Gadflow made with Tirnoch, it's about to pay off. When that happens, the world will suffer her wrath. In the heart of Alabastra is the former unseelie city of Baal. Beneath the Winter King's court, there is the cave of Amethyst. It's a place of tremendous power. It is where Tirnoch is imprisoned, and where you died. You were two of the people who were supposed to keep Tirnoch hidden from the world. Anyone who learned too much had to die. But when Gadflow found her, you were the one who volunteered to kill him and seal Tirnoch away once more, even though you were fated to fail. It took every trick we had to get you here the first time, and you still died. I don't know if you plan to be resurrected, but knowing you, I wouldn't be surprised. She's imprisoned deep in the amethyst, but Gadflow's war has weakened her bonds. There's no time to spare. If she gets free, our world is lost. Let's go. We need to move! Tirnoch's power is immense. She just tore off a splinter of what you could have been and turned it against you. When she killed you, that much power must have torn you free of the entire tapestry of fate. Let's go. Only you have the power to reseal Tirnoch inside the amethyst. I must keep the secret of her existence from the world. Once Tirnoch is pushed back into her prison, these caverns must be sealed. But that leaves one question. Can I trust you to keep Tirnoch's secret? There are things in this world that must remain hidden. If the power of the dragons were widely known, well, you've seen what has happened here. Gadflow tapped a fraction of her power. He upset the great cycle of the Fae and waged a genocidal war on the young races. Just coming in contact with her power managed to free you from fate's bonds. And if you can turn that freedom against her, she will have no power over Amalur. Nothing like you has ever existed before. As always, There's no way of knowing your future. If you're victorious, it may be the last time you change the fate of the world. Even if you fall back into fate's weave once her influence is gone from this world, it will be a far better fate than what Tirnoch's emergence would bring. That is excellent. After all that you've done, it would have been a shame for you to die a second time. If you do escape, I will be watching you. And know this, anyone who learns the truth of what happens here, I will silence myself. Go. Stop Tirnoch from fully entering this world. But remember, my blades will always be at your back. Nothing in the world is fated to stop Tirnoch. That's why you're the only one who has a chance. I'm just here to make sure you take it. Amethyst lies beyond. This is where the dragon will breach the veil.
Come forward, mortals. Behold the birth of Tirnoch. Attend your final hour.
My fate does not lie beyond those doors. You alone may change what is to come. Go!
Ah, yes. Welcome back, mortal. How does it feel, I wonder, to return to this place? Does the pain of your death still linger? Can you feel it echo through the air? And now, in this place, you shall witness the birth of Tirnoch, the destruction of the Alpha, and the dawn of the endless winter. She comes. Tirnoch the powerful. Tirnoch the merciful. Qualla fella Tirnoch. Qualla sera Tirnoch. Tirnoch? Have I done well, lady? Are you pleased? Did I...
You have served your purpose.
But I have so much more to give.
Impossible!
How could we have known that this would be a new beginning? I wonder now if we should have foreseen this outcome, but who knew then what fate would bring? I would have liked to have delivered this message in person, to see you one final time. That, however, would have been complicated. The order to which I belong had other plans. Were you ever to leave the crystalline fortress? When it comes to you, though, it seems no fate is written in stone. It was only through my assurances that your silence could be counted upon that either one of us still draws breath. I trust you will not make of me a liar. were stories of what we have seen to begin to surface in the inns and taverns of Amalur, I would be asked to seek you out. And as we both know, the next time you die, there will be no return. But let us not speak of this. Your life is your own. Go now, and see what fate may bring you, or what fate you may bring. Perhaps one day in happier times, you and I will meet again. Until that day, I remain yours, Alyn Shir.